Hope you're having a good one, YouTube family. Right now I am at IndyRC World for the 25th annual LoneStar Classic. So this is in Garland, Texas. We're gonna do a little track walk here. You might see a feature that doesn't necessarily usually fit in a off-road dirt track, and we'll discuss that in a little bit. But first off, let's start with our straightaway. We got the timing loop here, straight. We're coming out here about 3/4. We're setting up for this first corner, turn number 1. Now there's a little bit of a roller hump here. Overall, it's not bad yet. The grip isn't too high yet, and you can kind of transition over it pretty smoothly. So we're just letting off the gas maybe halfway as we come down this straight, slightly banked straight, you can see. Let off the gas about halfway and just try to round this out, and I'm coming all the way out to the outside here. Now, the ideal line and what I did when I first got here was we could actually launch this, land the downside, and almost be set up for that back section. But because a lot of guys were trying it that probably shouldn't have, they were endangering marshals, so now we're only allowed to single this. So right here, I'm coming over, slamming on the brakes up the face of this, trying to be able to downside the back, get that throttle, start angling right towards the inside of this corner. And you can see there, this thing's been biting me. I keep getting stuck into that, trying to take it too tight, but just trying to stay on the inside here. And the reason I want to stay inside is because as I approach this double back here, this is a full speed section back here. You can't quite take this double full speed because it slaps you into this big roller. So what I do is I'm full throttle. I'm trying to stay on this side if I can hit it right, because this side launches you a little bit lower, so I can take it faster and not have to let off as much. But if I'm out here somewhere, I let off about half throttle as I approach it and let it jump over, or I'll hit it full throttle and try to slam on the brakes on the face of it to try to scrub some speed, get the wing high, land right into here. So we're landing about 1/3 to a half, and then full throttle on this thing, just launching it all the way to the corner. So this mound is probably 4 foot high, and it launches you pretty good. I mean, you're probably, let's see here, you know, you're taking this thing and you're launching, and if you're full throttle, I mean, you're landing here. So it's pretty fun, really fast. And then you got this nice little wall, and your objective here is to try to go over that dot. That dot doesn't really upset your car, so you want to hit this, get right onto that dot, then you're doing a quick left. So I mean, you're carrying a ton of speed, full throttle, then right when you hit that, cranking it, and then immediately taking this left. Now the tricky part is if you do come up a little bit, you're making more of a left-hander here. And what you're trying to do is you're setting up for this jump here, and this one's a right-hander. So what you're doing, if you're full throttle here and you're left, and you're continuing to turn left all the way up to the face of this one, you're still kind of like weight balanced, dipping to the right, which doesn't allow you to kind of do a whip to the other direction. So what I'm doing is I'm turning left, and I try to get to it as quick as I can. So in this middle section here, I'm actually letting the car settle for just a moment so I can get straight line, and then I can do my little movements with the wheel and flick it a little bit to the right up the face of this jump and have it set for this next corner. That's the goal that I'm trying to achieve. And so there's a couple different parts to that, obviously. And you're making this left. In this section here, you gotta let that car settle for at least a split second so it's not leaning on that back right. And then that way you're set up, you're straight, and then you can whip it and try to land on the downside of this, already turning into this 180. And then here's a fun little section. I stand all the way on the far side, which makes this pipe pretty blind for me, but I've been fortunate for the most part not to hit it when I'm doing this. So I'm trying to take this tight and then just doing a nice left-hander, and I'm just hitting it pretty hard. A nice, you know, probably 80% left up the face of it, landing out here, and then this full throttle and trying not to hit this pipe here. And it's been pretty good. I'd be able to hug this, I'm assuming pretty close. Obviously I can't see this very well, but I've hugged this, and then I push out because I'm still full throttle, and I'll push out to about 3/4 out here, and then it sets you up for this triple. And sometimes I think I mean even all the way out to the pipe. Unfortunately, it's all pretty smooth right here. It hasn't really affected me at all. I've always been able to jump straight. So I'm out here, Then I'm immediately trying to jump back into the middle of this. And this jump, you can get a little bit of a whip action to it if you want. Start getting the car set for this left-hander here. But again, this track, as you're gonna see here, has an oval incorporated into it a little bit. So using those kind of driving practices are important, keeping up your corner speed, keeping up your momentum. So it's really rounding out corners that's really seeming to help. So we're landing out here and starting to round this guy. Now here I try to stay tighter if I can. I'm full lock, I'm on the gas pretty hard. I want to stay a little bit more inside because outside there's a little bit more of a lip. It's not much, but it's a little bit more and it'll upset the car a little bit. You're not keeping your car stable around this whole section. So I'm trying to hit the middle, trying to hug this guy pretty tight again. You know, you're probably 10% to somewhere in this range, because then we have a little mogul section. And it's kind of an option lane. You can kind of take it like a quasi medium speed. It doesn't upset the cars too bad. My ideal line has been, as I land this guy, I'm out to about the middle, and then just holding that throttle pretty hard and setting up for this one out here and just trying to hit this about half throttle, which allows you to double it and have a nice setup for the corner up here. If I find myself pushing out too far, I'll just slow down a little bit, get really close to the pipe. It doesn't upset the car too much at all. Then you almost make it more like a single there. Or if I find myself more in the middle, if you just go about half throttle, quarter throttle, it'll kind of just blip through these four and doesn't get too affected. So they're not too bad, but it should be interesting when we get some side-by-side racing going. Anyways, I'm out here, ideally, landing about here, cranking that left, trying to drift a little bit. The grip is coming up, so the drift is going away a little. But I love these 180 hairpins. Goose it to the next one here, and I'm pitching it, 5 feet before it. At least as of now, as the grip comes up, I won't be able to do that as much. But starting to pitch it, how to do that, I just nail the brakes really quick with my wheels turned, brakes the rear end loose, and then I control the slide with throttle and steering inputs. And then try to shoot out of this corner. And as you can see, there's a nice blue groove forming, so you want to stay in that groove because that's your traction. So if you get too far inside, you're just going to have a little bit more wheel spin than you would if you were able to stay out here. Now I am ideally, though, staying on the inside of this. My line's more on the inside part. And then you can see this is a nice actual slight bank oval that they have, and this is the right-hand side of the oval. So here, it's really grip levels. I'm trying to stay pretty tight though. I found that to be the best for me so far. Again though, we've only been practicing, so I've been running with a lot of different skill levels. So it's kind of hard to say how this is all going to transpire when we actually have guys with pretty similar abilities running together. It's going to be really interesting because you might have a guy that starts farther out but then can dive in further. But I'm really staying pretty tight, and then right here I bleed back out to about 3/4. So that's a lap around the IndyRC World Track. Let's show you from the driver's stand. But man, this track, it's a lot of fun. It's so high speed, even for an indoor track. We're just so on the throttle, and crashes are pretty spectacular when they do happen, when you just miss your mark by that little bit. So here we are. I'll show you from my driving perspective, all the way on the left side of the driver's stand. So here we come around. We're just full throttle here, just full throttle all the way out about 3/4, and then just let off a little bit. You're kind of balancing, not wanting to traction roll. I think we might have an issue later if the grip does come up a lot where it might traction roll or want to off of this little lip. So I'll have to watch for that, but just try to be really smooth, get as close as I can to that, and push all the way out to here because I'm on the throttle, trying to keep my momentum up. Stab the brakes up the face to try to be able to downside the backside, start bleeding towards the middle and the inside, and I try to stay on the inside down here best I can, because again, this jump doesn't launch you as high, closer to us. So about a 3/4 throttle if I'm on the inside there, lands me about here. And like I said, as I go up it, sometimes I'll stab the brakes, especially right when I get in the air. Let me get my hand properly here. Go wing high to try to bring the car down faster. And as soon as I see it coming to land, full throttle again and just launching this guy out to about here. Immediately making this right, trying to go over that little pylon dot there. Immediate little left, let the car settle in this section so I can do a little flicker to the right. Set up for this 180. Hit this guy about the middle, trying to land on the inside of this one, and just holding that full throttle, which allows me to, while I'm steering in full throttle, it pushes me out to the very outside of this. Let off up the face of it, trying to land in the middle of it, and then just making a nice arc here, all the way to the outside. I kind of like let off, and then maybe I'll like blip it up the face of this, just to make a nice easy double. Give a quick little burst of throttle, pitch it with the steering, get it going around this 180, full throttle, pitch it sideways, do another 180, bleed out to about middle, and then start making it tight, and bleed out again. So that's a lap around IndyRC World. Hope you enjoyed it. Check out Live RC. Not positive there's camera action. There is going to be timing. And I'll be looking to do a really awesome video, hopefully, on Sunday night after it's all over. I got my GoPro. Gonna do some onboard footage. This track's got some great sections. We're not allowed to do it in racing, but this is going to be an awesome whip section here. We're going to have little whips over here. I think it's going to be absolutely awesome. So thanks for watching, guys. Thank you for supporting me. Catch you next time. Bye-bye.